السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ربنا ظلمنا أنفسنا وإن لم تغفر لنا وترحمنا لنكونن من الخاسرين. ربي أني مسني الضر وأنت أرحم الراحمين. لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. وصل اللهم على محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه وأتباعه وسلم والحمد لله رب العالمين.
We're reading from the Reasonings, page 10 for us. Guidance and an indication. History, including particularly the biographies of Prophet Muhammad, is unanimously in agreement that Prophet Muhammad, upon him be peace and blessings, whose life has been thoroughly recorded and is known in the greatest detail available in history, did not tell the smallest lie before he was 40, the age when he was appointed as prophet, and was known as Muhammad the Trustworthy. In addition, he never stooped to deception. He preserved his chastity to the utmost degree during his youth, when carnal desires are experienced to the most inflaming degree. He was always known to have, and accepted as having, the most sublime character. He was perfectly balanced in all his acts. There was nothing in history recorded about him that opposed these facts. When every person reaches 40 years of age, they have formed an established character, which shows very few observable changes later. Therefore, one who does not admit that the great revolution which Prophet Muhammad realized after he was 40 was based on absolute truth should blame themselves. One who does not admit that the great revolution which Prophet Muhammad realized after he was 40 was based on absolute truth should blame themselves. For such a person must be nursing a sophist in his or her mind. Even in the most perilous conditions, such as when he sheltered in the cave of Thawr together with his closest friend Abu Bakr during the emigration to Medina, and when there was no visible sign of escape, the Prophet acted in the greatest confidence and feeling of security. This attitude of his alone shows his utmost certainty in his mission and his unshakable confidence in God, who sent him as a prophet. This attitude of his alone shows his utmost certainty in his mission and his unshakable confidence in God, who sent him as a prophet. This alone is enough to prove his truthfulness in his claim of prophethood.
Anything that attracts your attention?
So I guess there are two things. One that I'm able to make sense of, the other I have a question on. I guess the first thing which this paragraph is at least highlighting for me is it's tying historical evidences that have been recorded and tying it to basically the mission of prophethood that we've been studying up until now. And it's kind of backing it up or establishing perhaps trust in the prophetic mission through the historical evidences, not the other way around, which is interesting. Normally, you have this concept of prophetic mission, and then you start forcing that on historical events, and you say, no, this is why he did it, versus it's kind of reverse engineering it and saying that, okay, here's the historical event that took place, or the historical event, evidence that we have, and then saying, okay, remember that prophetic mission that we studied. Here's how it kind of establishes more trust in that or credibility in that. So that was the first thing. I do have a question, but I'll wait. If anyone else has anything to add.
That makes sense. Yeah. Well, I have nothing to say. If anybody else wants to add anything. No?
I think, for me at least, not directly related to what he was saying, but on how a character is established at 40 years of age, in that, you know, if to a certain point I'm being constantly molded through clay, that clay is somehow being hardened and is a reflection of whatever I have cultivated at that point, and how he's using that as basis for the continued truthfulness of Prophet Muhammad.
So actually, on that note, that was where my question was. I guess the line that really confuses me is where it says, therefore, one who does not admit that the great revolution which Prophet Muhammad realized after he was 40 was based on absolute truth should blame themselves. Like, I guess tying it back to the 40 years of age, like, I understand that it's not 40 as in like literally on your 40th birthday. It's kind of establishing that at a certain age, to Aisha Noor's point, you're not that moldable. I guess tying it back to the analogy of clay, where you're kind of fixated in certain ways or certain things, which I'm not sure if I agree with. I can understand that if you practice one particular thing too many times, you kind of become conditioned to do so. But it doesn't make you trustworthy, or I'll even go as far as using the word like infallible, right? Like it doesn't establish anything in the future. It just establishes what you've done up until that point. You have no reason or evidence to say that this person will not act in this particular way that they've been consistently acting in. But for me, using history to say this is what the future is going to be is, I don't see the connection to be that trustworthy or that credible.
Pay attention to this phrase here, the great evolution, and which, forget about this phrase there, which Prophet Muhammad realized after he was 40. Now, forget about this, where you are stating a question, which is not the case. Read it. The Great Revolution was based on an absolute truth. So, if the revelation did not have truth, which makes sense to me, then your argument would be valid. It's open question. You cannot guarantee that I did not tell any lie. But it doesn't mean that I won't tell lie tomorrow. But since somebody is known, never tells lie, and he's a trustworthy person, etc., and comes with an absolute truth. It's a big word, absolute truth. Hakikat-ı mutlak. Yeah. It means a truth everybody can agree. Yeah, absolute. Well, in this world, we cannot talk about absolute, but it may refer to an absolute source. That is different. Absolute source is a result of our reasoning or our using our human abilities and saying it must be correct. It must be correct. Yeah, I agree with it. I agree with it. The problem here, I think the author is trying to struggle with, yes, what Muhammad said was true and makes sense as far as the fundamentals of his teachings are concerned. Yeah, I agree. For example, I cannot imagine this world thinking that this world has no aim, no purpose in its existence. There's no one who is really taking care of this world. Just it's happening by itself like that. Impossible. Impossible. There must be something. That's what we should understand. There must be something, has nothing to do with revelation. This conclusion, there must be something, has nothing to do with revelation. Do we agree on it?
There must be something
which organizes, owns the source, bringing it into existence. There must be something.
But why are you saying that it should not have anything to do with the revelation?
Yeah, without revelation, I can conclude that.
Sure.
Yeah. If someone does not conclude this, whether he claims to be a believer or denier, regardless, doesn't come to this conclusion by himself and confirms Muhammad or denies Muhammad's message, pointless. If denies Muhammad's message, he has not used his human capacity, regardless of Muhammad's message. Confirms Muhammad's message, again, the pointless, because why do you confirm Muhammad's message if you are not confident, if you have not reached a conclusion in which you have confidence? Do you get it? That is the fundamental of it. Now the problem here, not the problem, the main concern of the author is here, not what Muhammad said was right or wrong as far as the content of his message is concerned. But we have to be careful here. Do you get it? Do you follow me? Look, what Muhammad said, as far as its content is concerned, is not the problem. Because it must be something to do with my own ability to be able to confirm it. But the problem is, he claims that this is not the message, as the word used here, and an absolute truth which caused a great revolution in the society is not from him, from the owner of this universe. That is the problem. You get it? No? Or if you don't say no, I mean, I know this may be new for most of the people. No? Shall I repeat?
You repeat it.
No. If I give you a statement, right? I tell you something. You say, oh yeah, that's correct. Let's say, for example, 1, 2, 3, 4. There are 4 beds here. I'm making it extremely simple. You say 1, 2, 3, 4. You are right. Right? You agree with me. That is one matter. That's what absolute truth is. That's one matter. We say, or human beings can say, can or is expected, they are expected to say, there must be something. There must be something. It's like there are 4 beds here. I agree with it. But afterwards, or after saying that there are 4 beds here, you say, yeah, I agree. Human beings, if they have not conditioned their mind. But I say, this is not my idea. The owner of the house told me this. I haven't counted. That's a big problem. This is not your idea. Owner of the house told you this, and it is true, but it is another step. Yep, what you said is true, but how can I make sure that it is from the owner of the house? This is prophethood. Not only but the content of what he said must be true, but at the same time, you must have another attitude, another questioning attitude that my claim is not my claim is that this information is not the result of investigation. It is told by the owner of the universe. Oh, that is another matter. Do you notice that? Mm-hmm. Now, the author is trying to say that, yes, what he said is agreeable for any human being who has not conditioned himself with a free mind. There must be a creator, there must be an owner, there must be a purpose in existence. Do you have to have a revelation to learn this? Just open-minded, unconditioned mind, human capacity must reach this conclusion. In my own experience, I say, even though I have not heard anything from religion, Muhammad, Jesus, Moses, I would be puzzled. There's something going on in this world, and I can never imagine what it is. We paraphrased it. There must be something behind this event. Somebody is behind the screen playing this world, manipulating, conducting the behavior of the trees and everything. It cannot happen by itself. What is it? I don't know. Now Muhammad comes. I have received a message from the owner of the universe, and this message says there is an owner of this universe, and that he lets me know this, and he, the owner of the universe, explained it to me why he has displayed this exhibition for you. That is prophethood. Not only the truth expressed in the message, it must be absolute truth for me, absolute truth. There is no other alternative to absolute. No one says absolute in this world, but we know that it's a relative word. But no one can argue against it. It means the term here. The term, you cannot come up with an counter argument. Great. Come on, find a nice place for yourself. Okay. I'm very happy with it. Alhamdulillah. Absolute truth means you cannot really come up with a counter argument. But although you may not name it, this is one layer. The second layer is this is not my idea. So there, not the content, this absolute truth content of the message. We have to have some reason that this person says this news is from the owner. How can I trust him? Yet that what we said is true. But is it from the owner? So I have to look at the lifestyle, consistency, confidence, trustworthiness of this person. But if the content, for example, let me come back to the very simple example. There are 4, I don't know how you call them, beds here. I say there are 5 beds here. The owner of the house told me this. What would you say?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
5, 1, 2, 3, 4. What's that?
Double.
There's a double. Forget about it. I know. 6 is 6.
Yeah, that's wrong.
It's so clever. I didn't count that. So 5. I'm 5 setting. Okay. 6 beds. And the owner of the house told me this. From the scratch, you reject it. So there are 2 conditions. I'm repeating now. One is what the message contains must make sense to me, absolutely. It means no counter argument, impossible. That's one. The second, I have some sort of confidence that this message, the person transferred this message to me, says it is not from me. I didn't discover it. I cannot discover this truth by myself. But the owner of the house already told me this and asked me to convey this message to those people who make the inquiry. That is hard. That's why you look at the man. Can I trust him? Really? Because the second layer has no substantial evidence that, look at the angels are coming and telling him. Yeah, and something is coming and telling him. Well, there are some sort of physical signs which is observable or witnessed by his contemporaries, but for me, I don't know. For me, it becomes a narration. So I have to scrutinize his life and the peoples around him, how they really obeyed him. For example, what's a great example? Hitler's or Stalin had armies or followers. The one of them is Hitler's army, the other one the Red Army in Russia that time. And they killed millions of people under the commandership, if you like, or leadership of these people, Hitler or Stalin. They obeyed. I have to see whether they obeyed it on a right base or wrong base, for their benefit, for their own benefit, or for the sake of the truth. Because, yes, the contemporaries of the Prophet Muhammad obeyed him. They were ready to die for his cause. But for what? That's why I have to make sure that they did follow the prophetic message, not because they had any hidden agenda. Oh, it is good for me, to get rid of these people and establish superiority of my race, German race. So I have to go back in the content of the message that Hitler delivered to people. Does it really make sense? It works other way around now, because if we see that historically, people were ready to be killed in order to defend what Muhammad was claiming to be the prophet. And the people were ready to be killed to implement the idea of Stalin's idea. They killed a lot of people, millions of people, and Hitler's idea. But I have to come back now. Was it really true? Can I really confirm? They all did because of their racist pride. Is it really correct? I have to establish that the German people are the most pure nation, pure race, and I should not let this race to be spoiled by mixing up with other races. Let me kill them, the others. Does it make sense to you? So it works other way around as well. For example, Muhammad brought a new message. We have to say, look, before making sure that it is not from him, but it is from the owner of the universe, in our example, from the owner of the house. First thing I have to look at it, but whether it is from you or it is from the owner of the house, but you are saying 5 beds, doesn't make sense. Content. If the content is correct, what are you expected to do now? Excuse me. Yeah?
Question the one delivering the message. If the owner actually sent
this message to him.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why great majority of the people, after the death of the prophet himself, because they didn't have the opportunity to experience his lifestyle, give importance to the fact that the Quran has some news which was impossible to be known by the contemporaries of Muhammad, next to the truth. But he also told something in the message. But you cannot really find it that time. It is impossible to find. Right? Let's say 1,000 years later, people discovered that, oh, what was not known to the contemporaries of Muhammad is not proved to be true by human discoveries. I'll come back to your example as a joke. But I said, well, there are 5 beds, but apparently when I look at the bird's eye, there are 4. 1, 2. Five, not six. Is it right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. In bird's eye, there are 4. Later on, I investigating it. Oh, it is 5, not more. That was not known to the contemporaries of Muhammad and Muhammad himself. Impossible. After 1,000 years of experience of human work, human endeavor, we realized that there is another bed underneath it. And this man said there are 5 beds, not 4. Oh, how would he know it? These are called miracles, miraculous news in the Quran to give the confidence to the people who follow or who wants to benefit from the message, right? This is more convincing for the people saying that we cannot have made it up, all the content of the message that he brought. Yes, fundamentally there must be a God, there must be a purpose in creation, then there must be a purpose definitely for the creation of human beings. And we human beings must have some sort of responsibility about our lives. Yeah, it makes sense, yes. I cannot live without any purpose. It goes against my nature and how I am. I must have some sort of purpose. And the Prophet's message says this, but also the message tells something which is not known to his contemporaries. They say, oh, no, I don't know really this one. But fundamentals are okay. Now, the another problem comes in now. If a person believes in the messengership of Muhammad, just because of the miraculous explanations or disclosures of some extraordinary news in their time, now prove to be correct. I believe Muhammad as the prophet of God, employed by God, messenger of God. You know why? Because he told something which was not known to anyone, and it wasn't impossible to be known during his lifetime. So he must have got the message from somewhere else, because it is humanly impossible. That's why he is a prophet. This claim alone doesn't really have much value. Why? Because the person himself must have a confidence in the fundamental teachings of the message of the Muhammad. It means it is expressed here, the great revolution which was based on absolute truth. That is most important part. The other is, the other only gives confidence that this message, this content of the message cannot be from him. So he claimed that it is from the owner of the house. The owner of the house is supposed to know. So owner of the house, these miraculous explanations in the Quran makes me feel sure that Muhammad was a prophet. It means employed by the Creator. But what most of the people do now, we hear, they skip the first stage. Let alone this miraculous side of the Quran, miraculous explanations in the Quran, maybe miraculous language of the Quran, let alone this. Do you agree with the fundamental teachings of the Quran? Whether the mountains move or not is not my concern, man. You think that mountains are fixed? No, 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 they move, they move. And 1,400 years later, they found that, they're moving. Slowly, but moving. How did he know? Because of this, I believe in the Quran is the message from Allah, so that the content of the Quran must be true, so that I believe in hereafter. Well, it doesn't work. Do you understand the difference? It doesn't work. Fundamentally, we human beings, without being, if you like, under the influence of the message, we have to say, what are you telling about the nature of the existence of this world? Whether it makes sense to me or not.
Check out the content first.
Yeah, that is the content. But I must be confident in confirming the message. What is left there, I'm repeating, because it is important to make this difference. Here, the message is correct. Makes sense to me. It's correct. How can I make sure that this is from the owner of the universe? Now the miraculous explanations, miraculous language of the Quran comes to help saying that this man cannot say these kind of words, not all of them, details, the miraculous explanations in the Quran. Well, it cannot be from himself. And other elements come. Was the man really, don't forget this example of Hitler. People followed Hitler and their ideology doesn't make sense to you. Forget about it. Whether Hitler said, this is my idea or this is from God, doesn't make sense to me. Discard it. Throw it away. Got it? But if what Hitler said is true, that makes sense to you, absolutely makes sense to you. It absolutely means as far as you are concerned. Your capacity is concerned. Got it? But if Hitler, on top of this, claimed that this idea doesn't belong to me, I have got it, or the owner of the universe has given it to me. Then it becomes a bit more difficult now. Yeah. In general, what you say, I agree with you, but how can I make sure that it is from the creator of the owner of the universe? Do you understand the difference now? So I have to look for other evidence that this man's claim of being the messenger of the owner of the universe must be approvable for me. Look other evidence. The text is going to say, he never told a lie, and he established a society, or this society, the members of this society hated to tell lies. Then truthfulness was the most important element in the ingredients of this society. They were so sensitive about telling a lie, about everything, not only about human life or human relationship, about everything. And this man has never showed any doubt about his position. Although he experienced hardship, but he said, okay, I am going through this, but I know the one who employed me will take care of me. But went to the hardship just to demonstrate an exemplary life that we may go through hardships. For example, when when you have some hardship, hard times in your life, does it make you think that there's no purpose in the creation of this universe? And it is pointless. There's no owner. But we are going through hardship. We may think that, yeah, but I'm going through hardship. I should look for the wisdom in it. The owner is giving hardship. Why? When you question this, why is he giving me the hardship? Then you find out that, oh, you are being trained under every circumstances. So Muhammad went through the same hardship, but he never was suspicious, doubtful that his owner is training him as an exemplary life. He's training him. But he had confidence. Yeah, I'm going through the hardship. It doesn't mean that the message will come to an end and without being completed. No, it will be completed, I'm sure, but I'm experiencing these hardships now. It's a training, being an exemplary life. We need to go through hardships as well. Trustworthiness, confidence in the success, completion of the message. What else? In his life, he never acted in an extreme way, balanced. This paragraph, we are studying this paragraph. Unshakable confidence in God, in page, the first line, in the second line on page 11. Unshakable confidence in God means unshakable confidence for Muhammad, unshakable confidence in the one who gives the message to him. For me, unshakable confidence in the owner of the universe has employed Muhammad. Do you understand? Because he was receiving it. I am here to confirm his claim that his message was from the owner of the universe. So I have to work in two ways. Muhammad has to work one way. To make sure that what the owner is telling him and living accordingly. Got it? Me? No, I have to do something more.
Look at behavior.
Say it.
I have to look at his behavior.
And also content of the message,
Right.
whether it's true or not. You have to make sure that it is true or not.
Mhm.
But in the life of Muhammad, how do we see the people usually imitate this attitude? It's very dangerous. Muhammad says, I don't know. What God told me is this. You follow that? It's very important. People imitate Muhammad, saying that as if he received the message from God. Muhammad received the message from God. It's not me. The owner of the house told me that there are 4 beds here. He came back home. He told me that there are 4 beds. And let me count. Is this true or not? No, he said, no, I don't care. He told me that there are 4 beds or 5 beds, whatever. Whatever, 4 or 5 beds. Without investigating, he submitted to the message directly because he's sure. It is from not him, from the owner of the house. What would he bother about investigating the truthfulness of it, of the content of the message? He's sure. But he said, that's what God told me. But we are coming into a very important, hey, adjust it, inshallah, your mind, right? Come on, move it around. Move this way, this way. Make Rouhani. Rouhani, am I pronouncing it right?
Yeah.
Yep. They don't eat you, don't worry.
I'm comfortable here.
Sorry?
I'm comfortable here.
But she's not comfortable. Okay. Now,
I'm talking about
for Muhammad, the content of the message was not important. Because he was asking the question, answer was given to him according to his claim, but we are coming to a very interesting point. According to his claim, answer came from the owner of the universe or owner of the house. Right? He's sure, he's experiencing it. Why should he bother about the correctness of the content of the message? But as a human being, he may, not as a prophet. Not as a prophet. As a human being, he may say, no, I have received this message and this message really makes sense. Yeah. But even it doesn't, for example, he told something no one knew. Even he didn't know. The best example is mountains move. I don't know. Do you think that Muhammad knew that the mountains moved really? No, I don't know. The owner said me this, told me this. That's it. Some people imitate the attitude of the prophet and say that we have to be like him as well. Whatever Allah said in the Quran, we have to obey him. Look at, this is the path, this is the way, this is the behavior of Muhammad. It doesn't make sense. Why? He received the message from outside. He must have confidence in it. He's experiencing it. Are you experiencing it? No, how can you have the confidence? You have to question the legitimacy, acceptability of the content of the message. Muhammad is not. But a human being, he may, but he's not obliged. He is a human being. Also, another thing is, he brought some strange news, information, which wasn't known neither to Muhammad nor to his contemporaries. He said, I don't know. That's my owner told me. How people believe in those news that it didn't really have any evidence whether it's true or not. How did they? Because the fundamental teachings made sense. Fundamental teachings, as the text says, is absolute truth. Mountains moving or not moving is not absolute truth. Absolute truth is about the reality of existence. You can't have it here. Do you get it, this one? Oh, it may confuse you. Because there are many aspects that are not, it's not that simple saying that we are Muslim, we believe. No, it's not the simple matter. No.
You said earlier that we can look at today we can look at the fundamental ideas and
we must.
we must look at
Okay.
the fundamental ideas, and if it makes sense to us, we can confirm it. And then if we look at the miraculous events, this allows us to be sure that the message is from the owner of the universe.
The owner of the house in our example, yeah?
Right. But
Yes.
the contemporaries, they missed out on the second part because they couldn't confirm
Okay.
that the mountains moved. So how can I'm just curious, how could those people be sure that it's from the
Yes,
owner
of course,
the
it's not essential. You don't have to believe that the mountains move.
It's not essential.
Not at all.
Okay.
But Muhammad was confident. He wasn't hesitant that, well, but the owner of the house told me that the mountains move. No, I don't know really. It doesn't. Look at this. It doesn't. They don't. Yeah. They don't. He didn't lose his confidence personally. Because of the contemporaries also didn't know. They look at the life of the person, Muhammad himself. This man says fundamental matters really make sense. These are extra information. This is for the next generations. When it is discovered that this news is correct, we say, it is impossible that this man can claim this. There was no way to explain that. These miraculous narrations in the Quran, but the miraculous nature of the Quran, helps us to have more confidence in the claim of Muhammad's being the messenger, not the content of the message, fundamental message. Get it? Being the messenger. He could have not known him at all. It is impossible. So, really, he must have received the message from the owner of the house. The owner of the house is supposed to know everything. And that's corrected. It was known only to the owner of the house. Now, some people take the attitude of the prophet and the contemporaries of the prophet and say that, look, we don't now, in the 20th century, 21st century, we have to be like the prophet and his contemporaries because they straight away confirmed whatever he said. They say, this is the surest way. No, it doesn't work for me because it is not me who is receiving the message and saying that, sure, that I'm experiencing it. Muhammad says, okay, I don't know. I don't bother about it even. This is what I am told. And I cannot imitate the prophet because I'm not experiencing that. What I have to do, I have to have other ways of approaching this message, First, making sure that the fundamental teachings make sense to me. The second, again, see some sort of evidence, look for the evidence that has this man established an unjust society?
Where are you getting the evidence from?
Sorry?
Where do we get this evidence that you're mentioning right now? Where do
You are looking at the book. Book is with you.
Just like looking to
The Quran.
It says in the Quran.
Which one?
That he was a trustworthy man and he established like a
No, this is history.
society.
No. This is history. And also the Quran says the people know you and historical evidence, but at the same time the Quran's miraculous explanation is there too, available for me. But the history is
Can you give an example of the Quran miraculous?
There are many of them. You go the miraculous explanations in the Quran. There are books, many books written on it. Now, the text we read today, do you have page 10? Turn the other way around. 10? Yeah. A guidance and an indication. Did you get it at the very bottom? The subtitle. History, including particularly the biographies of Prophet Muhammad, is unanimously in agreement that the Prophet Muhammad upon him, whose life has been thoroughly recorded, this historical recording, and is known in the greatest detail available in history, did not tell the smallest lie before he was 40, the age when blah blah crosses. Now, this is, we have to trust the narration. Now, do you remember long ago, we said when it comes, now there are two, again, apart from today's layers, steps of how we should work. Before this, there are two main lines that we have to go through, main thought. One is, is the messengership as an institution necessary? That's one thing. That's what we have to do. We, now, not the contemporaries of the Prophet. We. Is it really necessary that the owner of this universe must explain or must give the answer to very existential human questions, fundamental human questions? Look at it. There we use one word, one expression. If the universe is consistent in its existence, demonstrating that it has an owner, conscious, wise owner, knows what he's doing, free will, has chosen the universe to be like this, as it is. And if I am here questioning the wisdom in its existence, my existence, the existence of why do they exist? Why do I exist? If the maker, if there was a maker of the universe, must give answers to my existential questions, because by definition, if there was, I have a creator and he gave me this ability to ask the questions. And he must provide the answer. That is nothing to do with Muhammad or Jesus or I don't know, Adam or Noah. There must be an answer from the creator to my existential questions. That makes us, or that brings us to the conclusion that the creator, the owner of the universe, must speak and answer to human existential questions. Now, that's one thing, completely different. And there must be, and how can I know? Somebody says, hey, the owner of the universe explained to me what you are asking. Now it is another if you like, subject that I have to work on. Yet the answers fundamentally seem to be satisfactory. But how can I know that the claim of this person is true, that he received the answer from him? This particular person. That's why we had studied more than 25 weeks, necessity of the messengership. Nothing to do with messengership of Muhammad, the book also is very conscious of what he is doing, really. I'm very impressed about it. Before this, the book worked on what? Whether this universe must have a conscious creator. And then whether this creator must speak and answer the human questions. And then, this is the last part now, whether the person, Jesus, Muhammad, Moses, whatever, claimed that I am employed by the creator and he gives me the message. Answers is given to me and I am employed to distribute it to you, to let you know the answer. Now we are at the last stage. Now, while we are looking at the claim of a particular person to be the messenger, but we must have confidence in our conclusion without referring to the Quran or the message of the Prophet. We must have come to the conclusion that the universe must have a conscious owner. Step one. Step two, the universe, so this conscious owner must answer, reveal his purpose of creating this world. Second step, right? And I must receive it, or I don't know how. I don't know how, but it must be. Otherwise, there will be a contradiction. There would be a contradiction in the existence of this universe. What would the contradiction be? There must be a creator, and I have the questions and concerns, serious concern, what will happen to me? It seems to be a very cold, not loving, but very cold joke. Creating me, giving me existence, making me love existence and everything that I experience, and then seems to be executing me and killing me, and that's it. Purposeless result. Is it a joke? Is there any sign that the maker of the universe is really playing with us and making joke and just cheating us? Why? There should be such a thing. There must be a purpose, but we don't know what. If there was no message that we received through the prophets, we don't know what, but there cannot be as it appears to be. The universe and the human life cannot be as it appears to be in the conditions of this world. There must be a reason, there must be a purpose, but I don't know. That's why I say the owner of the universe must reveal his intention, his purpose, his wisdom to me. But I don't know. Where is it? Some people rises and says, the universe, owner of the universe, has inspired to me that this is the answer to your question. We now cannot take the attitude of the prophet. We have to say, do you say this? Let me see if the answer makes sense. Content. And let me see. You haven't not made it up, although it is correct. Yes? Although the fundamental teaching is correct, but how can I make sure that you are not telling a lie? That's why here now, at this last stage, what we are doing, the text is reading the last stage. The messengership of Muhammad, this is the last stage, has to look at the historical evidence. Because from the very beginning, do you remember? when the subject comes to study the prophethood of Muhammad, a person, because of the nature of the subject, that Muhammad was an historical man, was born and died. So, about a historical man, I can gather only historical evidence. That's why we have to look at the historical evidence at this stage only, not previous stages. But I will repeat again, because of the importance of the subject, those people say, whatever the Quran says, I believe. Yeah, there are some miraculous things in it. Does it work? No. It doesn't work. Why? First, you have to have established the fundamental teachings of the Quran makes sense to me. That's one thing. Right? Investigate it. Investigate it. Ask your questions and get the satisfactory answer to it. And then you have to look at the historical evidence that Muhammad really did not tell a lie, because the narration tells me that he never he was very careful about lying in his whole life, and the consistency in his whole life, and the most important, confidence in his whole life. Since I am employed by the owner of the universe, I will be taken care of by the owner of the universe. I trust him. So confident. These are all, with these all depend on historical evidence, because we are talking about an historical man.
And that's why miracles do not apply to us.
Sorry?
And that's why miracles do not apply to us here and now, because it applied only to
The personal miracles.
Yes.
No. That's why Muslim scholars, serious Muslim scholars, say that the only miracle which concerns us is, what do we hear? Quran. Why? The other miracles, we don't know. There's only narration. But we must have a substantial evidence demonstrating that this message has miraculous aspect as well, and it must be available, accessible for me right now, which is only the Quran. Yes, supported by the historical narrations of other miracles as well, or the miraculous explanations or disclosure in the Quran supports it. But fundamentally, I have to see the miraculous aspect in the Quran first, and then hear the historical narrations. Must be compatible with each other, must support each other. No more the wildest society turned into the most civilized society of that time. This history. No one can deny that Roman armies were defeated. Persian, Pars emperor was destroyed. And the south of Roman emperor was destroyed by this one, taken over, and they become the most civilized society based on truth, not like tyranny, like Roman emperor or Pars emperors. Not tyranny, but trust, because the message was based on justice, based on truthfulness, based on selflessness. That's why the message spread very widely. And this is, for example, can you really say that the Roman emperor's civilization was a right civilization? It is just tyranny, because people were suffering under the oppression of the emperors or administration. In parts, the Part emperors, the people were suffering. And when Muhammad's, if you like, students, disciples, came to them, majority of the people, not the administrators, said, you are right. That's what the conquer, they call it conquer, the destroying Pars emperor, destroying Pars empire was so easy. Why? The people who accepted the message because it wasn't their interest. It meant to sustain the empire wasn't their interest. They were suffering from it. That's why, according to me, or according to some people, but as far as I'm concerned, according to me, declaring the human equality, destroying the slavery, is very fundamental in the teachings of the Prophet. And also, it is very fundamental as far as the truth, the absolute truth, or the truth, as far as the social life is concerned. If any ideology, any doctrine, any ideology treats the people differently in an unjust way, whatever they say, we have to reject it. It doesn't, because it is against human nature. Saying that I am superior because my skin is white. I am superior because I belong to certain family which is regarded as the elite of the society. What does it mean? It means they don't really pay attention to the creator of the universe as the one who created you with white skin. The other one is the dark skin. The other one is as a dog. The other one is as a cat. The other one is as a palm tree, or the other one is as a, banana tree. The other one is a stone. That is his choice. It doesn't give me any superiority because I was made in this way. That's not none of my business. I was made by the same owner. So justice was the most fundamental message. Treating the treating the lower class people, treating the orphans, treating the weak people in a just way was the first most important message of the Quran. After not the first really, after the dependence or dependability of the universe, that universe cannot sustain by itself. Everything can be destroyed anytime by the maker. And then justice. That was the main reason behind expansion of this new civilization introduced by Muhammad. Main reason. Monotheistic idea was welcomed, but general public don't appreciate the monotheistic idea. For example, let's say, I am the boss. Put yourself into this scenario. I am the boss. I am the owner. and you are my slave, right? I am telling you, you have to do only what I tell you. You have to have only what I let you have it. But we are created by one God. What would you say? What would you say?
You're sick.
Doesn't make sense. Okay, well, we are created by one God for what? But I'm suffering as a human being. So be careful. They say monotheistic idea, monotheist idea, or tawheed, which is no, everybody knows it. Tawheed is the fundamental teaching of the Quran, but in practical life, justice is the fundamental teaching of the Quran in practical social life. So if someone says Arabs are superior, Turks are superior, my family is superior, my lineage or my ancestors were better than yours, this kind of claim, whether he believes in God, whether he believes in the hereafter, doesn't matter. He lost the exam he lost the test from the beginning. Do you understand that? Although we know that the main teachings of the message of Muhammad is based on Tawheed. But this is the practical side of the Tawheed. It means the reflection of the Tawheed in social life and in my practical life. Yes, I'm a slave, but I know that I'm created by God, but I am a slave. Would you agree? That I'm created as slave, not as a human being, but I have the same qualities as the one who claims to be my boss. I am a human being. I have eyes, I see. I have reason. Reason. I want to have my own freedom. The same feelings. I'm not a dog. I am as human as the boss is. Why should I not have the same freedom as he does? I ask a question. So practical implication of Tawheed is what? Justice. Through justice, Islam expanded, accepted by general people, wherever they reached, wherever they could reach. Now, historically look at it. When the implementation of justice stopped, what happened? Expansion of Islam is stopped. When the army is employed and the power is used to control the people, to invade the people's land, and make them subject to their administration, Islam stops. That's why I'm very sensitive about Ottoman policy. Completely destroyed Islam and harmed Islam to spread into Europe because they used sword to spread Islam. Do you understand that? So if someone says our Shanlı ancestors, how do you say? Our ancestors are inherited as a great legacy, whatever they call it, Arabs or Turks or I don't know. Egyptians have a great legacy as well. Definitely, some Afghani people. I have a student who studies on Afghani history. He says, not Afghani, sorry, to be realistic, Bangladesh history. What is told me, when I study, he's a Bengali. He said, but as I study, I see that Bengali civilization is the highest civilization. And the people don't know. You understand this? It means everybody wants to be superior by nation, by race, by family, by something else, not by God. The Quran says you can be only superior before God according to your consciousness of God. Nothing to do with your, everybody is created by me. Everything is created by me. You are equal to me as far as your existence is concerned, because you are all my creatures. Equal. There is no difference between human being and a stone as far as being a creature is concerned. This is whether you know it or not. This is one of the fundamental understanding of Muslim thinking. As far as creatureness is concerned, everything is equal. There is no difference between an ant and Muhammad. If you esteem Muhammad, both of them are creatures, equal. Yeah. The author of this book says a piece of, how do you say, wood, not a wood, brow of a wood, chop. Chop. In Turkish, chop. Huh?
Piece of trash.
Trash, chop. Not
Dirt, rubble.
A piece of wood, brow of a tree.
Bark. The bark of the tree.
Bark.
Bark.
I don't know how it's said. So, as far as the existence of the bark and existence of Muhammad is concerned, creatureness side is equal. They are both created by the same one. So, as far as the createdness is concerned, everything is equal. Nothing can say that cats have higher layer of existence than the dogs. Can you make this distinction at all? No. Cats are perfect as cats. Dogs are perfect as dogs. Human beings are perfect as human beings. And human beings look for value. That's what we are concerned with. The others may have their own value. I don't know, none of my business. I am interested in my business, which is I have to have an honorable existence and a meaningful existence. Now, the creator in the message says you can have a valuable existence as far as your consciousness of your creator is concerned. Nothing to do with your shape, nothing to do with your status in society, nothing to do with your wealth. Quran destroyed all this. That was the main reason why Islam spread among the people. When this principle is ignored and the power is started to be used, spread ended. All the Ottoman armies went into Europe and came back. What they left there in Europe, hatred of Islam. Now the Europe hates Islam because they know that these people are barbars. They were powerful, they came, they dominated our administration, and we somehow overcome and throw them away. These people are barbar people. Nothing to do with Tawheed, nothing to do with truthfulness at all, because they are unjust people. Now, people in the modern age, I'm coming a little bit today's politics now, people understood, realized that colonization was wrong. They were powerful. They could colonize all the poor people, but it didn't bring a permanent solution for their ego to satisfy their ego. What they did, instead of colonizing physically, going there by force and asking the people to obey them, to give their wealth to them by force. Why not to use other means that the people themselves will give their wealth to you? How is it working now? Everybody works and pays for technology, pays for fashion, pays for the general current of the global civilization now. Whatever it is, there's a film, millions of people go there. Whether this one or that one. They don't force you, you pay. Colonizers used to force to go to the film, if you like. Now people are going. They realize that we have to convince them. By force, it doesn't work. Right? If this is true. By force, it doesn't work. You have to convince them. Islam, from the very beginning, no force, convince them. Message. Take the message, take the message, take the message. Go and tell them, go and tell them. But the elite of the society always rejected. The Quran is full of examples of elite opposing the message of the prophets. Elite, not ordinary people, elite. Those people who are seeking their benefit always opposes it. Quranic teaching or Muhammad's teaching, the Quran's teaching, what the Muhammad brought. When the power took over, finish. Even they went, they came back. When they invaded, came back. The best example of this is Istanbul. The best example, living example, is Istanbul. Whether you are aware or not, the highest technology that time was owned by the Ottoman Emperor. They invaded Istanbul. They knocked at the door, knocked at the walls of city wall, right? By force, entered into the city and took over the administration. They said, okay, you are free, but we are the administrators. It means we deserve to be the administrators, not yourself. No, you have to obey me. Right? But I give you the freedom to practice your Christian tradition, whatever it is. But, okay, somebody enters through the wall into my house and says, you can pray, but I am the owner of this house. You can pray, you can practice whatever you want, you can fast. I don't mind, you are free. But I am the owner of the house. What do you see? That's what the policy or the power. But the others, non-Muslim colonizers, they said, no, I am the owner of the house. You cannot pray. You have to follow my civilization. But the Muslims didn't do the second part. That's why some, to me, stupid people say, but our ancestors came and gave freedom to them to practice their religion. They took over the center cathedral, Hagia Sophia, St. Sophia, but made another church for them. Okay, you are free to practice in this masjid. How about St. Sophia is a symbolic Orthodox Christianity center. No, it's going to be the masjid, but I will give you another one. That is Muslim colonization. Muslims, not Islamic, Muslims colonization. Milder in form, but wrong in reality. You cannot get into the house of the people and say, I am the owner of this house now. You have to follow me. But I give you the freedom to practice your religion. It doesn't solve the problem. I feel that these are very important matters that we have to pay attention. No, I say Pakistani people are superior over Bengali people. They don't like it. How a Bengali boy comes and asks my daughter to get married? How dare? That's the mentality of the Pakistani people, but you may not know it. Do you know it? No. Do you hear? No. You may not have it because you were not grown up in Pakistani culture, and your family also was away always. I've seen in my students' experience, they all come there. How can you get married with a lower caste from Pakistan? Afghani, do they have a caste?
I like caste, but there's like social level.
Social status. Pakistan, India is crazy about caste. Islam destroyed it. Everybody is equal. And especially the lower caste, because they don't have the benefit in it, so they cannot really egoistically claim that, yes, we have to keep it, It's against them. That's why the Quran says the elite of the people, elite of the society said to the Prophet, we cannot be among your followers because they are the lowest people in the society. Erzelhum. That's the word. Erzal. Lowest. How can I be with the lowest class of the society? I am superior. They opposed the prophets. Not the prophets said, oh, there is one God. There may be one God, I don't care, but I cannot be with the lowest class. I cannot sit together with my slave and eat together from the same bowl. That's the problem, social problem. But then Tawhid is something else. That's the social problem. Can they sit and eat together with their slaves? So one of the students, not one, several of this, I have several experiences from Pakistan. If you get married with this girl, definitely I will kill myself because I cannot live with this girl. Because she belongs to a lower caste. How can I sit with her? Do you hear this kind of things? I hear. Do you understand the importance of justice? Right? Theoretically, Tawhid is essential. Right? Practically, immediately after Tawhid, justice comes. Do you understand the importance of it? And what happened in the history? Because of the influence of the sultans, they call themselves caliphs as well, just a made-up story. Caliph is supposed to be elected by the people. They say, I am the caliph because I am implementing Sharia according to my understanding. So ridiculous. So what they did, they ignored in the culture of the people that we cannot force people. We cannot invade people's land, but we can make tabligh only. In order to make tabligh, what do you have to do? You have to learn the teachings of Islam, Quran, and teach people accordingly. What the Quran teaches, there is no difference between people. Every creature is equal. It means the legitimacy of sultanate will be undermined. They understand? That's why they ignore this. Tawhid is important. Tawhid is important. Where is justice? Disappeared. We have to awaken it. First, justice. And then treat people equally. and then tell them. And then tell them, let's understand the purpose in creation. But let's sit together, eat from the same bowl. In the Christian tradition, Jesus says what? Let's break the bread together. Breaking the bread, it means eating from the same food, same status. It seems to be very simple, but it's not simple with the breaking the bread. It means let's be equal. First, practically. And then think about it. Some people closed.
Equal as in coming in from the same source, right?
Sorry? Yeah.
That's
Well,
equal as coming in from the same source.
Created. I cannot claim that I'm superior over the table. I'm created. That's it. I cannot claim that I am superior over the horse. No. I am created as a human being, as I am. Horse is created as a horse, as it is. No, the horse is created to serve human beings, not because I am superior. That's how it is created. For example, you can ride a horse. Can you ride a ship? It's not created to carry you. But you can meet the ship. Yeah, but you go for a game, for a job, we used to put the little ones on the ship so that she doesn't mind the little babies and little kids to carry, to make just lovable, because they love the animal fitratan, in their nature. In their nature, they love the animal. When they slaughter them, they get angry with you. Child. So what they do now, they make the friendly relationship with it. So no, we love this one. We decorate it. It is also sunnah to decorate the hadi. Hadi means the one you are going to slaughter for Allah's sake. Make it lovable. Show that, look, I'm not enemy of this animal. I am not saying that I hate this one. That's why I'm going to slaughter him. No, I love him. I decorate him. Decorate the animal. You know, when they take the camels on, or cows, or not very cows, especially ghosts. Camels and ghosts are the animals, main animals of the desert. They used to decorate them, put a sign on them, and say that these are for, in the Quranic language, hadi. Hadi means sacrificial animal. To show sympathy, not I can kill anything. But when you are in ihram on Hajj, it is very interesting. You can slaughter the camel when you go out of ihram. While you are in ihram, not the camel, not the ghost, you cannot kill even a fly. No, not alone the fly. You cannot pick up a plant which is growing on land. Ihram. You cannot say, what is this? That's the grass. Pick it up. No, you are spoiled the ihram. You have to be punished. The punishment is not whipping or something. You have to slaughter an animal in order to recompense this. Because you disturbed one plant, life of a plant. Look at this sensitivity about the equalness of creatures. That is very fundamental according to teachings of the Quran or teachings of Muhammad. Now, I think the time is up. You want to say something? No?
Already. After I reflect on it.
Yeah. This today, although we read one paragraph, but I think we covered very important subjects today. Matters, very important matters. The difference between messengership and a person's claim to be the messenger, the content of the message, answers the existential questions, establish justice in the world, among people and among creatures, and seeing the historical evidence about the truthfulness of an historical man. These are completely different. The prophets, the submission to the message directly, whatever the message says, that's it. It doesn't mean that he is not really thinking about it, but when he starts thinking about it, not as a prophet, but as a human being. Now, that's what the Quran says. The prophet and the other people believed in God and the prophethood as a human being now, like you and me. Although the prophet got the message, no question, no doubt, full confidence, but we cannot imitate the prophet as we are the prophets as well. That's why the people said the prophet submitted himself to the message without questioning. We have to do the same thing. Is a false claim. Right? It is valid for him, not for you. You are not the messenger receiving the message from the angels and absolutely sure that you are not making it up. But I have to question whether I can confirm it or not. So imitating the prophet in his belief is cheating yourself. But practical side, imitating the practical side, or accepting as a teacher how to implement this message into one's practical physical life. For example, you have to pray like this and like this. You can imitate the prophet. But why do you pray? You cannot imitate the prophet. Prophet prays because God ordered him, because he knows that it is God ordered him. But for you, God ordered him. How can I make sure? Because I haven't received the message. I have to make sense of it. So we cannot imitate the messengers in belief matters. We cannot imitate anyone in belief matters. But physical practices, rituals, we can. That's why, in general, fiqh matters can be imitable, not imitable.
Okay.
You can imitate. Fiqh practical. But belief side of this rituals cannot be imitated. You have to understand what you are doing, why you are doing. Got it? That is the summary of today's discussion.
Real quickly, page 11, when it says that in his mission and his unshakable confidence in God.
Yeah.
So this is basically based on my observation as far as him being confident in delivering the message.
And this your impression is getting
from
from the historical narrations.
Mm-hmm. So
Whether he hesitated or not. No. Allah, what was it? Humul Ghalibun. The verse ends with Humul Ghalibun. Can you find that quickly? Ask the Hafiz Google.
What?
Humul Ghalibun. I can search for it, but if you are searching for it. I don't want to spoil the recording.
Yeah, no, it's loading. You want to know what does it mean?
No. Previous words. Something Humul Ghalibun.
Hizbullahi humul ghalibun.
Yeah. وَإِنَّ حِزْبُ اللَّهِ هُمُ الْغَالِبُونَ. Yeah. If you are in the Hizb of Allah, in English translation, in his party, Allah's party, in his group, it means if you believe in God and make tawakkul on God, you will definitely be the winner or triumphant. definitely. And the Prophet believed that. I believe in God. I am in the among the Hezbollah, not the Hezbollah group, which is famous politics, stupid. They how do you say, hijack the language of the Quran. They are terrorists. So I am Hezbollah. I belong to Hezbollah. Definitely, I will be right. Under very severe conditions, Prophet never lost his confidence. He said, "Oh, my God is not taking care of me." It is very dangerous in Christian theology, or it's not Christian theology, made up theology, which is called Christian theology now, and narrated that when Jesus was executed or crucified, and he said, "Oh my Lord, why did you leave me?" It is an absolute insult. From there, I understand that the crucifixion story is made up. Why? What? Lima sabatani. Why did you leave me? It means he didn't have the confidence in God's protection. Ghalib. A prophet, when a person says this, it means he doesn't have confidence, and he is not prophet then. Why the Christianity struggles this? Because of this stupid made-up story of crucifixion in reality, and they have to make up this kind of language. Do you understand that? For example, the prophet was Prophet Muhammad. The historical narration says he was stoned. He didn't have any place when he went to Taif for to take protection. He's stoned. Mecca was trying to kill him. Taif sent him away. What did he say? He didn't say, "Oh God, why did you leave me alone? Why did you forsake me?" Forsake me. It means forsake. Is this correct language? Now, why did you forsake me? He didn't say. He said, "Please, Allah, forgive them. They don't know. They don't know." He never lost his faith, confidence. But this language is attributed to Jesus, which is very famous language, Sabatani. Why did you leave me? Is definitely not true. Cannot be. It is against the messengership side.
If you think about it, like all the prophets narrated in scriptures, none of them lost faith, because even the supplication of Jonah is, "There's no God but you, right? Glory be unto you." So there's this recognition that, hey,
you are Arhamur Rahimin. You are the most merciful.
You're out
merciful.
there.
I am sure of it.
Right.
But I don't see the mercy now. It is my shortcoming, but I'm sure you are merciful. I will look for it. It means I will look for it. I will understand.
Yeah. So it seems that we are always hardwired with this connection, but I guess it's really our choice. We may choose not to. So we're cheating ourselves when we say, hey, you know.
إن حزب الله هم الغالبون. If definitely you will succeed. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم وآخر دعواهم أن الحمد لله رب العالمين. حرمة السيد